Rep from the 107th District, Martin Foncello, is with us. Good morning, Martin. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, Bart. Thanks for having me on.
I have to ask you this. Did you ever think you'd be a freshman again?
No, but it's it's pretty interesting being one of the older freshmen here, but I enjoy the role.
Well, it's and I'm referring to the fact that State Rep Foncello is now is a freshman lawmaker. When you have taken the deep dive right in and been working on a lot of things, Martin.
Absolutely. This year we had, I'm going to guess, about 1,500 pieces of legislation that were introduced, and that through committees and subcommittees during the course of the session gets reduced down to about 500, I think it is, that we passed. So it's been a pretty busy session this year.
Well, I know certainly for a fact, but you've been looking out for our seniors, and I know it's much appreciated. Procedures to protect our seniors, necessary ones, Martin.
Yes, absolutely. There's legislation that I had co-sponsored, which is now Public Act 23-161, which deals with financial abuse of elders, and it runs the whole gamut. Covers direct thefts, scams, and it also outlines rules for reporting exploitation. The numbers just seem to be on the rise here. So this is very timely legislation. Some of the abuse is because people out there just think that the elders are easy targets.
Yeah, and I know you and your colleagues have been working on making senior homes and senior groups more accountable, which is also a good thing. One thing I'm interested in, what's all this about food scraps grants, Martin?
This is DEEP grants, Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. And this year, both Newtown and Bethel, and again, just as a recap, my district covers Brookfield, Newtown, and Bethel. So Newtown and Bethel benefited from grants. Newtown got approximately $244,000, Bethel $42,000 in grants to process food scraps. And again, we're familiar today with the blue garbage cans and waste cans and then the regular garbage cans. So we're used to separating things. We need to separate the food components, the meats and the veggies that we have that can be composted and returned back to the environment. And as I like to say, waste is a terrible thing to waste. So we need to put it to good use. And Newtown has been doing that for a number of years. Bethel is now, and we're trying to get Brookfield to come on board with this also. So food scraps are collected, and then they're basically composted and returned back to the earth. This is good for a number of reasons. It's good for the environment in general. And from a financial perspective, there's a large savings in money on this because the waste, as it is without this composting process, is all shipped out of state at great cost. So the taxpayers can save money by doing this and do something good for the environment.
Yeah. And really, it's intrigued me because, here's something that can work. All too often, we hear about these certain programs that are, good for the environment, good for this, good for that. And then all of a sudden go, but wait a minute, how are we going to pay for that? This is the kind of program where it's a little bit different. People might like the numbers that they see. How have you found this? This initial year. I really want to ask you what compelled you to want to serve, as a state rep.
Around 1999, 2000, I was the first selectman in Brookfield, and I was in for 2 terms, 4 years. In between, for the greater part of that time, I worked for the Department of Homeland Security in New York City, working with police and fire departments, anti-terror. I retired from that 1 year ago, and I said, I don't want to just sit down and do nothing. I want to get involved again. So a position opened up, and I'm grateful that the people in the district voted for me and allowed me to do this job.
You've got to stay sharp. You've got to stay focused. You got to have a great team with you. And that really does transfer into being a state rep, because you've got your colleagues, and whatever side of the aisle you're on, you got to try and get it together for the betterment of the people.
That's right. And in both cases, both that federal job and state rep position and the first selectman, you're dealing with people. You have to get out there and talk to people to see what's going on, identify what the problems are in the case of the state rep now, and helping to resolve those problems. So the two elected jobs are very similar. State representative, you get some of the larger scale issues. Some of them are pretty serious, like dealing with immigration, benefits, unemployment, Social Security, jobs, and income taxes. So in this job now, I get to coordinate with officials at all levels, federal, state, and local. I've worked with our two senators, Blumenthal and Murphy. State level, worked a lot with veterans. Again, veterans are an important group to me. At being a veteran, you're one voice out of 151 voices, in this case in Connecticut. So you need a room full of people to accomplish things. One of the big benefits of the job, I was surprised to see when I got there, was that there's a large number of staff at our disposal to help us get the job done. We have legislative aides, media officers, outreach, legal, and research, and they're all pitching in to help us do the job. I have to say, in the 6 months now that I've been up there, I've been pleased to meet and work with a lot of really good and talented Republicans. I'm a Republican, and Democrats, too.
I appreciate you checking in with us today. Thank you.
Thanks for giving me a call. Appreciate it. Have a nice day, everyone.